Hello, and welcome to another episode of Get Your Fill Financial Independence and Long Life, where we explore ways to achieve those two goals. And we invite people on to help us who are specialists in that exact area. And that's why it's awesome today that Christina Woods is with us. She helps high functioning women to crush self doubt and become unstoppable. She, as a hypnotherapist, empowerment coach, and Reiki healer, she wants everyone to stop looking outside for what they need and instead to look inside. Christina, thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, thank you, Christine. It's great to be here.
Yeah, we're excited because I think you have the answer to what everybody wants to know, right?
It's not out there, it's inside.
Exactly. Fix your indoor. Yeah, right. What is it? Glass houses or something?
Right.
So is this what you've always done? I mean, how did you become interested in I guess would it be accurate to say that you could sort of summarize the things that you do with a phrase like energy work is that?
Yeah, mindset, energy work. Yeah, I think it's in that category, and it's definitely not what I always did. I I had a similar journey. I think around 50, I thought, okay, I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore. I had a 30-year corporate career in higher education. Actually, I wasn't a professor. I was in admissions and then kind of a sales and marketing arena, and had lots of people reporting to me and flying around the country, and the corporate life, running around in airports, lots of stress and anxiety. And
I know. Well, traveling for work sounds like everybody's dream job until they do it, right?
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And eating late, and you're right, away from your family and all that. And and I made great money, got promotions, and I kept saying, why does this feel so awful? I mean, this is like what I'm supposed to want. This is what I wanted. And
right, exactly.
yeah, about 50, I found myself going through a divorce after 25 years, and my children were leaving home for college, and me and the dog were saying, what's next?
Right.
And it's scary. You have a mortgage, you've got tuition bills to pay, and a future of, now I'm alone. And I just decided to take a leap of faith and follow my heart. And I've always been interested in things that were spiritual and self-help, and started going to retreats and started to do some inner work, because I certainly, when you go through life changes like that, you start to look inside a lot more and slow down a little bit. And I had always been afraid to do that. You could do a lot of self-help work and really never look inside. So,
right.
you can go to retreats and, do a little bit, but when you really slow down and look inside, it's a little scary sometimes.
Oops, you just froze up there.
Oh, and so my journey, when I did slow down, I started to do inner work. And when I did that, I got the strength and the confidence to leave a career I'd had for a long time and start my own business and work with women, and, women maybe with a similar journey that know there's more to their life, and whether that's their bank account or their love life or just feeling better and stop being a people pleaser, and really just put themselves first and feel good about who they are. And that's what I get to do now. And it's amazing. And now I make more money than I did. And I never thought that was possible. I thought, oh, this will be just what I love, but you can have both.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it interesting how you think, well, I'm going to, I'm willing to, live on ramen noodles to do what I love. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, I don't have to eat ramen noodles. I'm making more than I did before.
Yeah. And it's like part of our culture to think, well, if you do what you love, then that must mean you have to sacrifice, money. And that's just a lie. It's not true.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like if you find what you do well and what you love, then you're just going to do it in such a way, right, that the money's just going to flow in.
Yes. And, and one of the programs and kind of stories I had was that, if you're helping people, it would be bad to charge them a lot. And, there's a lot of stories people have like that. And so I had to really work past that. And, why I hire coaches, I hire therapists, I hire people that are of value to me, and money is just energy. Right. And so even when I work with clients now and have to remind myself is replace the word money with energy, and because that's what it is. And when you do that, then things start to kind of just dissipate. And of course, and things get a lot easier.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I hear that a lot from people that, oh, how can I charge this much and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't know if Les Brown was the one who said it originally, but
Mhm.
he's who I heard say, when people pay, they pay attention. Right? If you're getting a
Yes.
free thing, you're like, maybe I'll finish it, maybe I won't. But if it costs 10 grand, you'd be like, man, I gotta finish this thing, right?
I'm
Plus, I also
invested.
think it speaks to your mindset, right? If you're in this scarcity mindset, that's exactly your problem. We have I'm reminded of a thing. We had a mastermind group that meets on Sunday mornings. And one of the people went to like a introductory thing with a woman who does some type of, energy work to help you to, find more money. And she said, she actually said to the group, she said, well, I don't think I should do it right now or whatever. And I said, and why is that? And she said, I said, do you see the irony in you're saying that you can't afford to make more money? You see the irony there?
Well, one of the shifts I had to make from, I think my internet seems to be okay, a little bit better now. Yeah. Okay. But one of the shifts I had to make from the corporate world to this world that I really had to look within was, no matter what promotions I was getting or raises, I had this issue where I noticed, gosh, I'm spending like crazy. My debt is just out of control. What's the problem here? And the program I had was that, and I was raised by a single mom who lived paycheck to paycheck. And that was my belief was, well, you might not get any more. You better spend it. You better spend it. You better spend it. Even when I had a lot. And so that I knew I had enough awareness, thankfully, to say, uh-oh, this doesn't make any sense. I keep getting
Right.
promotions and raises and there's nothing left. And so I really had to put the brakes on and say, what is that about? And what it was about was, one, that mindset, but also it is that believing that something on the outside is going to make me feel better, whether that was shopping, whatever that
Right.
was, thinking it
Retail
was going to,
therapy.
yeah, making me feel better. And as soon as I took care of that, I didn't have the desire to spend that money. I didn't have the desire to spend it on things that didn't mean anything to me. It just wasn't there because now I know I'm enough from the inside. And so when I work with clients about that, it really, when we get to the core of what is the lie they're telling themselves or the program, because it's just a program and it might have stemmed from childhood or some other issue, but we all have these programs and it doesn't necessarily mean we had trauma. It could be, might not be. We all have these programs and we just need to unprogram
It's not,
ourselves.
it does, like you say, it doesn't have to be a traumatic experience that caused it. It's
No.
just a belief that your family had.
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest, my mom still has that belief.
Mhm.
She still has that belief. And if you go in her house, it's stuffed from top to ceiling with stuff she's saving just in case she might need it. And that's her belief. And, and she holds on to stuff really, really tight because she's afraid she's going to lose it and not have it again. And so I had to shed and let go and release a lot of that because it wasn't mine. So
Yeah. I know you reminded me of my grandmother when she passed away. We found that she was saving the plastic bags that her like boiled ham would come in. So there were all
yeah.
these disgusting, and like tissues and I mean, like things like, and she used to
What?
steal
Yeah.
the salt and pepper shakers. I mean, it was because she lived through the depression, right? So she
Sure.
just thought, what if, I need these 67 salt and pepper shakers because what if, like we never have salt and pepper
Yes.
again? I'm like, really? Really, Graham?
Yes.
And wouldn't
Yes.
spend any for money, right? Because she just felt like, oh, I'll never, the opposite, right? Instead of
Yeah.
shopping a lot, she would steal things from restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
and that was a trauma, but then the next generation, it wasn't their personal trauma, but they
Mhm.
just kind of inherited it, right? You didn't live through the depression, but because you were influenced by someone who did or whatever, then
Sure. You see that. You see that.
yeah,
And I see that a lot with the entrepreneurial women that I work with in not so much that belief, but a belief that I have to work, 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 I have to do.
Yeah.
And, I work with them to know, to learn and shed some of that belief and kind of balance out this masculine and feminine energy, because our culture reinforces and high fives that masculine, do more, get more, go home, go bigger, go home kind of mentality. And
Yeah.
you actually, it's great to build and create and grow, but also you have to be open to receive and have joy and delight. And to feel and manifest is about feeling what it feels like before you even have it, and
Right.
and being in that delight. And they're kind of like, what and so kind of helping them balance that, and watching growth in their business by actually enjoying things more and delight, instead of just the to-do lists.
Yeah. And I think it's probably more challenging for women to do that because I mean, I know when I started my first business, it was my baby, right? It was like my
Mhm.
physical, like I just would do anything. I was like, I will not eat so that this entity can survive, right? And as women, right, we're just so much more nurturing. And if we all are thinking of our, our businesses as our offspring,
Yes. Yeah.
it's hard to
Yeah.
just say this business has to give back to me, or I have to stop and give back to myself.
Right. So many women do put themselves last, whether it's a business, whether it's their children or a family member. I would say most phone calls I get start with, can you help me not be a people pleaser anymore? Or or I need to save more. Or I want to find love. And they're kind of all the same, because we're
Yeah.
putting ourselves last. We're putting ourselves, way at the end of the totem pole. And for many, it's actually even acknowledging that it's okay to have needs and put your needs first, and helping women identify, what are your needs? What do you want? And slowing down, saying, I'm allowed to have needs and wants. Yeah, let's talk about what they are. And really, and that's what I love about hypnotherapy. I mean, if you would have asked me 5 years ago if I would be doing hypnotherapy, the first hypnotherapy meditation I went to, I was in the very back of the class. I didn't know it was a hypnotherapy class. I thought it was just a regular meditation class. And when she said hypnotherapy, I tried to run out, but I was in the back and I couldn't get out. And I thought, I don't want to do this hypnotherapy thing. I'll be out of control. I don't want to. And so I laugh now that I do this, but it's not what anybody thinks, but it just helps us get to the root of some of these blocks in a very quick way. And it's just beautiful to be able to see these things that are blocking us and come to the surface really quickly, and help people rewire and recode in new beliefs that they want really quickly. Because this idea that we need to be in therapy for a really long time and suffer and drag it out, and that's the best way, that just doesn't, it's not how it has to be anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I think when people think of hypnosis, right, they're thinking of like somebody walking on the stage, barking,
Right.
squawking like a chicken or something, like, oh, someone's going to make me do something stupid. Right.
Oh yeah. My own kids said, oh my gosh, mom, you're like the guy at the fair now. And I said, no, I promise. I might do that if you don't do what I say, but no.
So I mean, how would you describe like hypnotherapy or hypnosis to someone who just has that opinion of it?
Yeah. Um, that's a good question. It's really just feeling, you feel like you're just in a kind of a relaxed, meditative type state. And if someone doesn't even know what that feels like, I would say it's, when you're really just kind of zoning out watching Netflix, and just kind of like, you sort of hear, the phone ring or the siren go by, but not really. You're sort of in a zone. It's that feeling. So
Uh-huh.
we're talking the whole time. um and somebody might say, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom, you go to the bathroom, come back. It's not like you're immobilized and frozen, which people think. Yeah, it's none of that zombie stuff. So yeah, you're just in this very relaxed state, and what it does is it just quiets our conscious mind and wakes up our subconscious mind, which is, whether we like it or not, running the show. So
Yeah.
it's 95% of everything. And we subconsciously breathe, we pick up a spoon and eat, we blink, we do all kinds of things subconsciously, but we also have emotions and feelings and those types of things subconsciously that we forget about. And, a good example is when you first learn how to drive, you're very conscious about, I have to turn the blinker on and turn. And now you're thinking about what you're going to cook for dinner, and you're talking on the phone, and we're looking at our eyeball, and we're doing all kinds of
putting
things.
on makeup, right? I see that a lot. Like, oh, please don't do that.
Checking on the baby in the back. And so,
right.
It's automatic. And our thoughts are automatic too. But the cool thing is that we can actually change them. That's what's amazing.
Which I find that whole thing so mysterious, right? That there's just this whole separate part of our brain that is just doing whatever it wants, and it's influencing our daily life.
I know.
And you just don't even know it. You just don't, are you just not even aware of it? And it's so interesting when something happens and you become aware of it all of a sudden.
Yes.
And you're just like, wait a minute, like what, how did that happen? I don't know. I just,
it is fascinating. It's fascinating. And even when I do sessions with people and they have profound changes in their life, they will still say to me, I don't know if it worked. Did it work? So we're like, well, you tell me, look at these changes you have in your life and what you've manifested and created. And, we sort of laugh about it because it's not a light switch, doesn't feel significantly different, but it's like your walls kind of come down a little bit, and nobody ever wants to lose control. So you never lose control.
Right.
I've even done hypnosis when my son was about 18. And I said, look, if something comes up and you don't want to tell mom, you don't have to tell me. So you can even filter what you say and don't say. And, you still have control. And it still works because I don't need to know. It's what what the client,
the person
knows is coming up. Exactly. And and what happens is we go back to these scenes and moments in your life that are the root cause and reason for this belief. Like, why I had someone last night in my office that can't sleep without taking a Tylenol PM for the past 30 years, and then has to take another Excedrin in the morning to wake up. And of course, is having health effects and all kinds of issues with their gut and their migraines because of it. And it's just high blood pressure, the whole thing. And very young, by the way, and successful, but knows this is going to cause these long-term problems. Right. We go back to the root cause and these scenes. And what we find is that as a young girl, mom and dad are fighting. There's some trouble at home. And then as a young married woman, really unsettled to feel safe at night. So as the belief is, it's not safe to sleep at night. You got to kind of sleep with one eye open. And now we're able to tell her mind, well, you don't live in that place anymore. Now you're in a home, it's safe, blah, blah, blah. So we were able to upgrade her mind. That's still just belief, because our subconscious mind doesn't know how old we are. And that's the cool part. We can say, let me upgrade you and tell you how old I am now and where I live now. And then I just made her a recording she'll listen to, and I'll work with her weekly and get these new beliefs, because the mind wants to go back to what's familiar, even though it knows now that she's 50 something and safe. It's still going to want to go back to the old, what's familiar. And we're just going to make this new belief familiar. And I've done sleep with many, many people, because so many people suffer from that.
Yeah. Wow. That's so powerful. And I read somewhere that, when you have a trauma, that you can kind of be frozen in that time, right? So you had a trauma at 12, and now like that part of your mind is still 12 and it hasn't evolved and stuff. Yeah. So now you can just say, okay, let's
upgrade your mind. Yeah. Let's upgrade it. And even if you're not in hypnosis, I always recommend, if you like to journal, or if you kind of notice a repeat pattern in your life, is slow down and ask yourself, like, how old do I think I am? Or how old does this feeling feel? How old? A lot of times that you're feeling, you'll go, this feels like when I was 12, or this feels like when I was 20. Okay. Because a memory will come up and a moment in time will come up. So.
Oh, so interesting. Yeah, we think we're so, evolved.
Yeah. Yeah. And just that belief that, our body keeps the score. That's a brilliant book. I don't know if you're
I
familiar
haven't
with
read
it,
that. No,
but
I'll have to read
um,
that.
yeah, the body keeps the score is the name of the book. And it's actually about when they first discovered PTSD in veterans when they came back before they even knew what PTSD. I think they called it shell shock, and now they we know so much. You don't have to go to war to have PTSD. Of course, you can have a car accident or other things.
Right. Yeah.
And but the idea that our cells hold a memory. So also, we might think we're really smarty pants up here, but our cells have a memory and they are addicted to emotions. And so even when we're really trying to change a pattern, our bodies and our cells chemically are going to drive us back to an emotion. And that's why diets don't work or other things we try so hard. It's really our cells go back. So many things, it's good when we understand this stuff.
For sure. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And that's, oh God, that's so powerful. Because like you say, I mean, people consciously, they really want to do something, right?
Yeah.
They're completely committed to it. And then all of a sudden, whoop, you just, the minute your back is turned, your body just, sucks you back into that
And
bad
we beat
place.
ourselves up, don't we?
We do. We do.
Yeah.
Wow. So how can we talked before we started the recording, we talked a little bit about money. And this is something that, I selfishly would like to talk about because I'm in the middle of a project that is taking all my money and even money I don't yet have.
Mhm.
I'm renovating this building and every day there's a new
That'll stir up some fears, huh?
yeah, exactly. So the last thing was, the fire department wants it sprinklered. I said, oh, good. So there's $120,000 that's not in my budget. Right. So I'm just like,
Right.
I'm saying to myself, you have to stay in a happy place. You have to maintain your, feeling of abundance. And my logical side saying, hello, that's not going to be enough. So how can we, when we feel that way, when we feel that like, oh my God, I just don't have enough, how can we soothe ourselves and accept and allow that abundance to come into our experience?
Yeah, I think at first allow yourself to feel the fears, because usually we feel bad for feeling upset, or we kind of like, I know I shouldn't feel this way, and we kind of beat
This isn't
ourselves up.
helping.
Right. So first, once we feel something, it actually starts to dissolve. So it's okay. We don't want to sit there forever, but I always say just sit there for a second and feel that feeling. Like, what if you can't come up with that 100, 120,000, and what does that feel like? Okay, well, it feels, oh my gosh, then I won't be able to have this project, and then this, and then that, and then, okay, so feel that feeling, sit in that feeling for a second, and then it starts to kind of like get a little bit better. But then what if, and start writing down some what ifs, like, well, what if there was a solution that we don't know yet, and then we start to talk about trust and trust with the universe, and start thinking about, feeling and believing, like, what is your purpose? Whatever this project is that you're working on, I'm sure there's this, like, reason you're doing it, right? So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
going back to that and kind of being in that energy and that high vibe reason that you're doing the purpose, feeling that energy and kind of imagining and feeling the vibe of being in that, in that energy, whatever that project, or whatever it is that you're doing,
Yeah.
feel yourself doing it, walking around, talking to people, whatever you're doing, acting and living in it,
Yeah.
and breathing in it and envisioning it and feeling that energy and really being in that energy. And then start saying, like, well, what if I didn't even need to worry about where I got that, and it just happened? What if there were solutions that I don't even know about? So many times with clients, they will tell me, There's no other solution to this problem. If we don't do it this way, it won't happen. Um, uh, Recently, a client said, I can't charge more. No one in the industry charges more. This is the most money I can ever make. This is it. I'm like, okay, well, what if you could just make more money? What if? And nope, this is all I can. Okay. What if all of a sudden she had a client, she was on a retainer with a client. She made 10,000 a month with this one client. And she decided, I need to give up this client because it's just too much. Yeah. And that's a lot of money. So she was really freaking out.
Yeah, that must have
And
been really stressful for her.
it was really stressful. And this is to the point of your story. And she was so stressful. She's like, I have to let go of this client. So she went to let go. She said, I don't have time for the meetings, the project. I just don't have time. And they said, absolutely not. We will not let you go. Even if we only get you for an hour a month, even if we can just call you and you can just answer one question a month, we want you. You're so great. Just knowing you're there makes us feel better. She's like, what? Oh, are you sure? Yeah. I'm like, did you ever in a million years, we can't make this up. What if? And she's like, are you sure? Yeah. She's like, they're like, thank you so much. They're thanking her. And I said, see, when you said I can never make more, there's no way. I'm like, feel into that energy. She's like, I'm so powerful. I'm actually, there's solutions because we allowed ourselves to feel in that vibe, and the universe actually has solutions for us.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? And things you never thought of.
Things you never thought of. Yeah.
Things you never thought of. And that it's so funny because I feel like the when I started this whole project, I had this I was in this kind of meditative state walking on the beach, and I got this idea I know it wasn't my idea, right? It came from some other part of the world and then my particular brain that I would have investors.
Mm.
And yet, so there's a couple people that are, thinking about it, talking about it and stuff like that. But I can only have 5 investors because I originally thought that the people who came here, because it's like a co-working space.
Okay.
So I originally thought that they would be the investors, but then one of the attorneys I talked to said, oh, don't do that because it's kind of uncharted territory. You shouldn't do that. I'm like, oh, well then, anyway, long story short. So sometimes I'll say to the universe, this was your idea. Where are the people?
Yeah.
You came up with this. Now you're going to bring the people. And I'm just like, you're going to let that go because the universe isn't as stressed out about things as you are.
It's perfect. That's perfect. So many times I say, universe, I don't know. I have no idea. I'll let you show me how. I don't know. I trust you. And even a little mini exercise that is good to do is, let's say, what is today? Thursday. We'll say, imagine what you're going to feel like on Sunday. All right. And you're looking back at your week and you say, I had this amazing week, because we can kind of picture in 2 days, 3 days, what we're going to feel like. Right, so this is a quick little Sunday, I'm sitting at home in my backyard. I'm feeling so great. I had this great week. It was wonderful. Then turn around and envision pushing that energy forward into the following week and say, now I'm pushing it into Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. And then it's kind of like this quantum leap into the future. So sometimes I'll do that with clients because we know how to look back a week, but once we learn how to push it into the following week, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Oh, great idea. Yeah. And you can that puts you on in the right mindset, right?
Yeah.
Like you were talking before about mindset. You're like, I'm going to have a fantastic week. I can hardly wait for Monday to get here because it's going to be so amazing. And whatever. Yeah. That's so I write the story of next week.
Yes. And I'm sure you've heard of scripting, and you might even do it anyways, but I do that almost every day. I did it before this. Everything is coming out of my mouth so easily. It doesn't always work, apparently. No, I'm kidding. But no, and I script out, how do I want this to go, and how do I want the end result to be, and what do I want the universe to help me with, and where do I feel, whether it's self-esteem or lack of safety, what do I want, and I script it out exactly how I want it to go. I'm walking down the street, I'm feeling confident, I'm feeling comfortable, I'm feeling beautiful and alive, and I love what I'm wearing. Yeah, it really is powerful.
That's great. I'm going to do that. I have an early morning meeting tomorrow. And I was thinking, oh, I hope I, don't look like I just rolled out of bed. I woke up early, I wake up early and I'm all fired up and ready to go. I have time to exercise before the meeting. I feel great and everybody loves me at the meeting, right?
Yes.
That's fantastic. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great
Sometimes
idea
I
because
just do it on
otherwise you're
my
just leaving it
phone.
to chance.
Exactly. Exactly. Wonderful. And, a quick little tip too, that I'll leave you with, or that I give my clients sometimes, is we'll come up with like a little mantra for them. And it might be, the theme of what they're struggling with, what they need to flip.
Yeah.
And I'll give you mine. Mine was always when I switched from my corporate career, where I had a great reputation. I could do it in my sleep, and ask me anything, 30 years, you've been asked everything, to this new thing that, I don't have a reputation. So I was always afraid, well, what if they don't like me? What if I'm afraid to be seen, and social media, oh, I'm old, all these dumb things were in my head. So, I created with my coach a little mantra that says, to know me is to love me.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
yeah, the more people know me, the more they'll love me. And they don't all love me, but it helps me, because that was where I was feeling like, oh, they might not love me. What if I don't do this good? What if I'm a terrible hypnotherapist? All the dumb things in your head. To know me is to love me. And whenever I start to feel that way, I'm in the shower. To know me is to love me. And so whatever, coming up with a little mantra for yourself, and whatever you're struggling, or I love being a six-figure millionaire, or a millionaire that drinks champagne, and that's my dance. Those are fun too.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, right, if we come to a situation and we're full of fear and no self-confidence and stuff, then we just present in a crappy way as well. So people don't like us because, like, that person's so, snobby, or, why are they so, unfriendly, right? And you just really just like, oh, I hope, oh,
Oh
you're
yeah.
really just closed, right? And you need to be open. And when you feel more confident, of course, you're more open. So it just builds on itself, right?
Yes, yes. I always think, some people might not resonate with the fact when I say I do energy work, but we all do energy work, because energy speaks. I mean, you could go to a bar and when someone walks in, if they're, in a good mood, or they're a jerk, or they're a nice person, because energy speaks louder than anything. We
Yeah.
all get a vibe.
Yeah.
And, and people get a vibe when they talk to me, or they talk to someone, or they, at the grocery store. And so energy is so powerful.
Yeah. You're right. And you can say, if you're not doing good energy work, then you're just doing bad energy work, right, by default.
Exactly. We all got it. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So you've given us some fantastic tools here that we can kind of take into our lives. We can we can positively envision and script our week. We can come up with an awesome affirmation. Are there any other things that you feel like people could like start doing tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning that will start to kind of get them going in the right direction?
Absolutely. The words we say impact us more than we will ever know. Our mind responds to the words we say and the pictures we put in our heads, whether they're right or wrong, or true or false. That our mind doesn't even care. It's literally responding to the pictures in our head and the words. So what you say to yourself matters. So say good things to yourself. And I literally have a piece of paper taped to my mirror in my bathroom that says nice things to myself, because I'm human. I wake up, and grumpy sometimes, and I forget it's there sometimes, but we can catch ourselves saying little nasty, grumpy things throughout the day, and they matter. And so flip them, switch them, and say really positive, powerful things to yourself, and make it a habit every day, and write it on lipstick, on the mirror, you are enough, or a dry eraser or something, you are enough. Because what we say to ourselves in our mind says, oh, okay. And it starts to change things in your body. It starts to change things in the energy, in your actions, but it all starts with your thoughts.
Perfect. That's excellent advice. So Christina, how can people reach you? I mean, we're going to obviously put all your links on the show notes and stuff, but
Mhm.
are you accepting new clients for people who are like, oh my God, I need her?
Yes, yes, I am. Every month I take a couple new clients.
Great.
And I can be reached at my website, which is wisewoods.com. And I always offer a free hour if anyone wants to chat and just learn more about it and talk about what's going on in their life. And they can go to book.wisewoods.com to book that. It's called a Freedom to Self-Belief call.
Perfect. Perfect. That's fantastic. So Christina, is there anything that you wish I would have asked you? Is there something that you were thinking, oh, gee, I really want to talk about this and we just didn't go there yet?
That's a great question. I just at the beginning when you mentioned the answers are not on the outside, on the inside. I just want to reinforce, we have the power to not only change our lives, but even heal ourselves. I work with clients also not just on these emotional things and things that we mentioned, but physical things as well.
Wow.
People with irritable bowel syndrome and migraines, and I'm never going to use the word cure. I'm not a doctor, but our mind is very, very powerful, and there's so many connections between our emotions and physical things. And so just taking the time to know that we have the answers inside, and we have such a culture and a world of order this, buy this, do this,
Take
copy
this
that.
pill.
Yeah, be like her, him. And sometimes you just got to go within and look within, and there's so much in there that we can do for ourselves.
Yeah. That's fantastic. So powerful. Awesome. Christina, thank you so much for being with us today. I mean, there's just so much here. I'm going to have to listen to it again, even from my own, just from the advice that you gave me personally. And I know that's not just for me personally. I know all of you can benefit from it. I know I'm not the only one in the world struggling with potentially having, wanting a little bit more money than I have this afternoon.
Heck yeah.
And listener, I know if you're listening and you have heard all the stuff that Christina has shared, try to think of like 5 friends who who would really benefit from hearing her words, because there's just been so much shared. And I think are even going to have to listen to it again and make sure you take it all in and take notes. And thanks so much for being with us, and have a fantastic week.
Thank you, Christine.